Give me some water so I'm not up here choking on y'all. I don't have anything prepared for today. This is one of the first times I had it prepared, and the Lord said, no, you're not sharing that today. So honestly, it's going to be as surprising to me what I share as it is going to be to you. And I've cried all day. I'm going to cry. I'm just going to get it out of the way real quick so I can just cry and be done with it. First of all, I do retreats on our farm in Lexington, Kentucky. Thank you so much. I do retreats. We do women's retreats. We do men's retreats. We do youth retreats. We do retreats. And they're all day. They're all free. And let me tell you something. I know the work it takes to put on retreats. And this woman is an A-class host. I know what it takes behind the scenes. And you, honey, you just... Thank goodness I got grace, because I'm like, Lord, my host don't get none of this. You're amazing. So a little bit about me. My name's Kassie Bennett. Live in Lexington, Kentucky. My awesome hubby. We have 5 boys. We have a farm that God gave us to rescue animals and people. We have 150 acres. And when the Lord gave it to me, he said, this is going to be used to set the captives free. I didn't know that my family was the first captives being set free. And then my ministry is very different. We set animals free. We've now rescued 96 animals that are on our farm. They live out their days till Jesus takes them home. They are abused and neglected animals when they come to us. She brought me one. So our farm is full of animals and people. We hold church every Sunday. It's called Church for the Unchurchy. And we travel the country once a year, intentionally sharing Jesus to the streets. And my husband and I have been out on the road for 5 weeks. I feel like I'm getting so filled up because let me tell you, and that's what I'm going to talk about today, what I've experienced for the past 5 weeks. I did exactly what the Lord told me to do. We have a rig, and we wrapped it with Jesus all over it. We have a trailer. We have another one that the kids take, but they didn't come with us this time. It's just me and my husband, and we hit the road. He said, you're not to go into churches. Okay, well, what's that look like? I want you to hit the streets. Okay. Every welcome center, every rest area, every Walmart that doesn't kick us out, which is very few. We've been kicked out of many places. We get set up, we got it timed down. I'm like, we got 25 minutes. Get the speaker out. Let me tell you about Jesus. Let me tell you guys something. And this may not be popular in here. You're my people, first of all. I got set free of religion by, I know you've heard this name all day long, Joseph Prince, unmerited favor, read it, and oh my goodness, set me free. The people outside of these walls, they need what we got.
That's right.
I've been 5 weeks on the road, and let me tell you, I'm running on empty right now. I have poured out at every rest area, every welcome center, every campground, every single campground we go into, the Lord said, feed them. We fix hamburgers and hot dogs. I go camper to camper, invite every single person back to our camper, and we give them Jesus and we give them food. Food always brings them. But we feed them the word of life. And let me tell you guys, it's like we have the oxygen mask, and they're starving out there. And we're sitting in here talking about it. You just don't understand what I've just seen. These people are starving for what we have. They're starving. God brought atheist after atheist to us on this trip. So every time we go out, we do it once a year, and it's intentional. My husband and I own 2 businesses. We have a farm. We have 96 animals. We've got a church. We have a life back home. That's about shutting all this out and saying, it's going to wait. We're on the road, and we intentionally share Jesus with every single person we meet. We have these crosses that are back there. We've passed out over 2,000 on this trip. Every time we get gas, every time we do anything, let me tell you about my Jesus. Let me tell you what Jesus did for me and my husband and my family. But this trip, he's brought atheist after atheist after atheist after atheist to us. And I'm not talking just a 15 or 20-minute talk. I'm talking, we want to take you to dinner. We want you to come hang out in our camper tonight. And we heard over and over, did you not hear me? I'm an atheist. I'm like, yeah, and what? Honey, it ain't my job to judge you. My husband says he's so good at it, man. The people love him. He doesn't like to be up on stage, and that's his thing, and that's okay. But one-on-one, I tell you what, this man does more ministry than I could do. They love him. And he's like, let me tell you something. We don't judge. There ain't no judgment here. But as we sit with them and we talk to them and the alcoholics and the people that are starving for the answer that we know, every time over and over and over, we hear almost the exact same thing. It's religion that stopped them from knowing my Jesus.
That's right.
And I'm like, let me tell you something. We hate religion. And this one atheist was like, woo, those are strong words. I said, I detest it. I detest religion because what I know is so good, and I want you to get it, and that stopped you from walking into a church for the last 30 years. I hate anything that can make you not understand how good my God is. And it always went back to I. And my thing is, it's not about us. It's never been about us. Grace set me free with that. That was one mountain I had to go around 110 times because I'm a perfectionist. I want everything. I got my list. I'm do. It ain't about me. It's never been about me. And now, I don't do all this trying to get something. I do all this because I got it. That's why I do what I do. I don't travel the country. I don't save the animals. I don't hold church because, oh God, if I do all this, will you please save me? No, I'm doing all this because my God is good. I know where I'm going, but I just want you to understand that it's on earth as it is in heaven. I want you to understand that He's redeemed us from the curse. Galatians 3:13 says we are redeemed. That means we're restored. I'm walking in the blessing. I'm not living the world's way. Deuteronomy 28 tells us the blessing and the cursing. It says that the blessing should overtake you. If you ain't living in an overtaken kind of life, then it's not that He hasn't done it. It's that you haven't received it. And that's what I want the world to understand. So in the middle of their, professing, and they just talk to us over and over about, well, I don't want anything to do with that, but man, we like you guys. Yeah, you guys want to go to dinner again? You guys care to hang out tonight? And you know what? I tried it after we talked to them for a while. I said, I want you to understand something. Jason and Kassie, we don't have anything for you. What you are drawn to, what you want to move to Kentucky to be beside now, what you want to take to dinner time after night, is Jesus in us. See, in the bottom of the pits, He's right there with you. On the valley or the mountaintop, He's right there with you. And I'm telling you, let me tell you what He did for my husband. My husband was an alcoholic. My husband has truly one of the worst childhoods I've ever heard of in my entire life. See, I grew up in some strong religion. If the doors were open, we were there. My husband didn't grow up in church at all. Nobody took him there. He raised himself. His dad was in and out of jail. And he had to raise himself. He had to get himself to school, or they didn't care if he went. It was a horrible childhood. Death threats, because his dad was a con artist and owed people money. And my husband, at the age of, 10, was getting death threats when he would answer the phone. He just continued the life that he had grown up with, alcoholism. It ran deep. It ran so deep. Grandparents, great-grandparents, father had a liver transplant. And when I met him, he was living that lifestyle. And I fell head over heels in love with him. And I kept going to my knees. Because, let me tell you, so first of all, I got set free of religion. I don't have enough time to tell you my whole story, but let me tell you, I got set free. And God picked me up and moved me away from everything I knew to Lexington, Kentucky. I'm from Southern Ohio. My family's from Southern Ohio. We're what I always call the big fish in the small pond. That's that little tiny rural county and rural town. And because they have a big name with 300 people, they think that's big stuff. That's how I grew up. And God said, I got more for you. And I said, no, you don't. I'm staying right here where I know everybody. He said, no, you're moving to a different state. He moved me to a different state where I knew not one person in the entire state. I was a single mom with a 4 and a 6-year-old on a straight commission job. It was a faith move, to say the least. But I was a single mom for 12 years. I was mom and dad. No child support, straight commission, and my family basically said bye because I walked away. We was a very, very close family, did everything the same. How dare you step out of that? So, everything in my life had order because I had to keep all the balls in the air. I had to be mom and dad, I had to do it all. So I thought, and then this beautiful, I mean, come on guys, he's just a handsome man. This handsome man came along. And he was so fun. Oh my goodness, he was fun. He had a Harley. Oh, I never rode a Harley before. I was having a ball. Well, I married him. And then I thought, okay, when are we going to get back to the normal? This was fun for a moment, but this was his normal. I'm like, wait, what? This partying can't continue. I started praying for my husband. And this was about 15 years ago. I was not set free in grace. God had showed me grace and I didn't even know what it was. But I was being set free of religion. And I would start taking my husband to the Lord. And I'm like, look, you need to fix this. This whole drinking thing, this is not working. I'm tired of the beer. It's got to go. You need to fix it. And over and over and over, I heard the same thing. You need to stay out of it. It's between me and him. I'm like, what? What? I'm telling you to fix him, Lord. We got a lot to do. No. So year after year after year, and it took years. My husband drank. I would go do my life, minister. I finally I wasn't ministering. I was living my life for Jesus. But I wasn't doing ministry at that time. And then I got unmerited favor. And when I got that book from Joseph Prince, I thought, this is what's going to set my husband free. Because the condemnation is what was holding him back. So when my husband I did a Bible study in my house. I knew if I did a Bible study, he would have to be there. He started getting set free with this. And we met Jeremiah Johnson, went to his church. It washed over him. He tells his story when he's one-on-one with people and says, that he would think, okay, Jeremiah will tell people, I was a womanizer, I was a drug addict, I was an alcoholic, and I was an atheist. And my husband would sit there in the service and think, well, he has a whole lot more problems than I had. So if God can do it for him, he can do it for me. And God did do it for him. He set him completely free. And now my husband is on fire for Jesus to tell people about the grace of God. It wasn't being set free in him doing anything. He received the love for the first time in his life. And that's why the Lord was telling me, I need you to love him. I need you to love him. Every time I kept taking him to the Lord, I need you to love him, Kassie. I'm like, I'm so tired of hearing that. Please just fix him. No, it was the love. I need you to love him. See, I'm convinced from what we're doing that it's the love that changes everything. I'm that woman that was forgiven of much and I love much, which I want to read something to you guys. In Luke 7, the whole story is Luke 7:36, but in 38, he says, and the woman stood at his feet behind him, weeping, and began to wash his feet with tears and wipe them away with the hairs of her head and kissed his feet and anointed them with oil. Why did she do all that? See, before that, the verse before that, it says the woman in the city was a sinner. And then as you go on down, the Pharisee said, she is a sinner. See, the world's still trying to call her what her past sin was. She knows she was redeemed. She knows that she was restored. And when you realize what was done for you, that's what pushes you into wanting to other people to have it. I got this beautiful little treasure over here, and I want to share it with the world. I don't do all that I'm doing to try to get something. I've already got it. Jesus said it. I believe it. I received it. It's that simple. It really is that simple. He has redeemed us from the curse. Now, if you want to sit there and wait to get to heaven and receive all that's for you, you're more than welcome to do that if you're going to get to heaven with it. But I tell you what, there's some good nuggets here on this earth waiting on you. There's some good stuff right here for you. I had this rescue farm since the time I was a kid. I wanted to have a rescue farm. And God gave it to me. But not only did he give it to me, he uses it to show me his love. I want to show you, I got my little props. Is that okay with you guys? Honey, can you give me that picture? So you guys see my little girl here. With 5 guys, I got my little girl. We're rescued. I mean, like, we love our animals. I'm going to share this with you guys today. This is my sweet little girl, Allure. Allure came from a slaughter lot. So in Lexington, Kentucky, it's horse capital of the world. We always say we love our horses. For my business, I sell horse farms, so I see the backside of it. They love their horses as long as the horses are making them money. That's the honest truth. So here's these thoroughbreds, or most of them are thoroughbreds. It's given their heart and their life to these owners. And when they're older, they can't give anymore, they're thrown on slaughter trucks. A slaughter truck, because in the U.S. you can't slaughter equine, so they drive 32 hours to Mexico or 38 hours to Canada from Kentucky. It's a horrible death. My husband and I go in and save as many animals as we can off of the slaughter trucks. One day I was driving home, and God leads me to these animals, literally. And I'm driving home, and he tells me to turn down this little driveway. And it's a little gravel driveway, and I do it, and it's this little house. And you can't go in and say, are you abusing an animal? That don't work real well. So I said, do you have anything for sale? That's what I always go with. This guy starts cussing. These blankety blank animals over here don't make me any money, but they're my kids, and no, those aren't for sale. And the ones in the back of the lot, they're not even worth looking at. They're hitting the truck tomorrow. Ding, 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 I know why I'm here. And I said, what do you mean? He said, well, we got the slaughter lot. I said, can I see them? No, they're not even worth walking to the back of the barn for, an old abandoned barn that they're hid behind. I said, oh, come on, let me see them. He lets me go on back. As I slide that door open, Allure locks eyes with me, and she does not take her eyes off of me. I tell them all, I'll pay you whatever the slaughter truck's paying you and $100 per horse, and I'll have them out of here in less than 2 hours. Lady, you're crazy. This horse ain't got nothing to offer, but whatever. So long story short, I take Allure home. I had Allure for about 2.5 years before Jesus took her home. Every name gets changed when they come to my farm. They don't have the same name because they got a brand new life. God gave me the name Allure when I looked it up because I'm like, Allure, what's that even mean? It means fascinating, beautiful, and attractive. I'm like, well, that's my Allure. God used this horse to show me his grace and love for his people so much. It's just so many stories, time after time. But what I want to share with you today, Jesus took her home. First of all, the day that I had to put her down, she had a fracture in her leg, and she could still walk, but she was in a lot of pain. I had the best of the best come, and they said, Kassie, there's nothing more we can do. So I'm walking her, out of dignity. My husband said we can put her on a truck and haul her over there. I said, no, she's walking to her final place. So I'm walking and I'm bawling and I'm talking to her and I'm like, I love you, girl, and where you're going is going to be so good. And I promise you, a supernatural, like you would have to be there. The vet even said it. My husband's like, if I wasn't standing here, I wouldn't believe it. This red cardinal comes and follows our entire 4-plank fence, plank after plank after plank down with me. And this beauty just continues to walk. And when she gets down to right where the hole was that we had for her, I promise you guys, every horse in every field that we have all nickered at one time, and she nickered back once. See, she knew where she was going. There's no pain. She had nothing to fear. But I promise you, I believe that's never happened. That's not even unheard of. If you're around horses, that doesn't happen. It was supernatural. And the vet's like, if I didn't just see this, I would not believe it. A couple nights later, my kids made this for me because I was hurting. I had it hanging by my vanity with my makeup. A couple nights later, I looked at it. I was brushing my teeth and I was shutting the light off, and I said, I miss you, Allure. And instantly I heard God say, why do my people not believe I will do it for them? I said, what do you mean, Lord? He said she was down a long gravel driveway behind an old abandoned barn in the middle of the rural county, and I sent you to save her because I loved her. Why do my people not believe they're worth it? I will go to whatever measure I have to go to save you because I love you. I gave everything for you. I finished it. I redeemed you. I restored you. I paid the price. It's done. I just need you to receive it. That's what he's got for every single person sitting here. He wants to take you. If your life is still in the slaughter lot and you're like, well, I'm a saved Christian. Well, guess what? He wants to take you to the green pastures. That horse had sweet feet every day, had alfalfa, had the greenest of greenest pastures, had fans on her. She went from the slaughter lot to the greenest pastures possible, and I promise you, if he did it for her, he wants to do it for you. He's already done it. He needs you to receive it. How do you receive it? Thank you, Jesus. It's that simple. See, the world tries to complicate it. We want to get it from the world's way. The world says you do, you get. That's what we've been taught from the time we were kids. Jesus says, I did, you got. That's it. We want to take the natural way to receive from the supernatural, and you just can't do it. So you got to reprogram. Oh, wait, that's in the Bible too. Renew your mind. You got to renew your mind. All the old thinking that was been pushed in you since you were a child has got to go, and you've got to understand it has already been finished. You can't add to it. You can't take away. Your sin can't just erase it. Your sin is never bigger than his sacrifice. It's finished. In the middle of your mess up, one of the biggest things that Joseph Prince taught me, in the middle of your mess up, I am the righteousness of God in Christ Jesus. I started saying that right in the middle of something that I would do. I'm the righteousness of God in Christ Jesus. And boy, I tell you, it's got to go when you do that. You sitting in this room are the light of the world. This world needs you. I've been out there for 5 weeks on the streets, and I'm telling you, this world needs you. It is starving. These atheists want to move to Kentucky to be close to us. You know what they tell us? We've never felt someone love us like you. That's so sad. That's so sad that you haven't walked into a church in 20 and 30 years because you haven't felt love. I love you. I accept you. I don't care. We took an alcoholic to dinner one night, and he's like, I'll get water. We're like, brother, don't do anything for us. We're not here to judge you. We're here to love you. When it's your time to get set free, that's between you and God. Don't you change who you are for us. Oh, okay. I still want water. You love people right where they are. See, you just know this little sliver of their life. God knows the beginning from the end. He knows that little season that we try to judge other people. Oh, well, I seen this. So what? That's what got me set free of judging anyone. I'm not going to judge you based on a fraction when God knows the whole thing. That's why it's his job. My job is to love you in that fraction. I don't care what you've done. There is nothing you can do to make me not love you. You can hate me. You can hate me. And I'll love you. Because I got Jesus in me.
Good.
We had a gentleman come to church right before we left. He called while we were out on the road. I'm going to cry on this one. I don't want to be a big crybaby today. His name is Casper. He just showed up at our church, and he said, God told me to come here. He drove 4 hours. He said, God told me to come here. And I said, well, Casper, welcome. It was on a Sunday. We have church every Sunday. We feed every person that comes, and we open our farm for them to go play with the rescues. And he said his words to me before the service started, I'm actively on meth. Well, what do you do with that? It's like, well, I said, you ready to be set free? He said, I drove 4 hours because I heard that people get set free here. I said, well, today's your day, Casper. Today is your day. We had service, and that man cried the entire service because I told him how much he was loved. You are so loved. I don't care what you are dealing with. I don't care what you're going through. You are loved. He cried and cried. I prayed with him after the service, and then Casper left. Hadn't heard from him since then. A friend of the wife who had filed for divorce because he relapsed. I guess he'd been clean for like 10 years. He was actually counseling and helping people in relapse. She called me just a couple days ago, and she said, I've got to send you a picture. I didn't even recognize him. I didn't even recognize him. He don't even look the same. She said, Kassie, he got set free that day. She said he came home and he's never been the same. You know what I did? I loved him. I met him in the ditches and I loved him because I got Jesus in me. Because that's what my good daddy does. We have a good father with 5 kids. My kids are in trouble. You think that I'm just going to be like, how dare you do that? What are you thinking? No, I'm like, let me get in the trenches with you. Let me help you through this. And that's what our daddy does. And if we're doing our jobs, we're telling them that because that's what they need. They're hungry, guys. The streets are hungry. And it feels good to come in here and get filled up. That's why I've sat there and cried all day because I know what I've just experienced for 5 weeks. Every day for 5 weeks, pouring into people, seeing this, seeing atheists, seeing drug addicts, seeing the homeless, seeing prostitutes, and loving on them. I come in here, and I'm looking at everyone. I'm thinking, we got the answer. And they need it out there. I'm so sorry I'm a crybaby today. You are so loved. You are so loved. And I believe that love is what brings everything because it's already finished. Everything's finished on the cross. Everything. In the cross and the resurrection, healing is won. Restoration, redemption. We seen a woman throw her cane at the church. Literally, my husband had to go get her out of the car. And she's on her little cane and she's coming. She said, I heard people are getting healed here. It ain't Kassie healing them. It's Jesus. It's them understanding you are loved. It's already finished. I just need you to receive it. I need you to understand it's finished for you. And you can wait till you get to heaven and you can have it then. But let me be bold enough to be the one to tell you, you can have it now too. She came up and she hit that cane on the concrete floor, scared me so bad. And she said, pray for me now. I'm like, okay. I start praying for her. She throws that cane and starts running. And I understand us living in the grace and understanding that we're right. We're already right. We don't have to do one more thing. But I promise you, if it was you on that cane and you knew the answer, you would want someone to share it with you. And that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to say, I got the answer. His name is Jesus, and I want to share him with you. If you need healing, if you need restored, if you need financial blessing, oh, substance blessing. Let's talk about that for a second. He took how many loaves of bread and how many fish and fed thousands? Is that not substance blessing? As he is, so are you. Today's the day that you receive it. With his love comes everything you will ever need. Bless you.